Hi everyone, we welcome to this startup feature program today. We have two wonderful entrepreneurs, two wonderful people from the very beautiful city of startup Varanasi, and here with me are joining Akshay and Ekta, and they both are doing some wonderful job with the startup called Zarinama. Welcome Akshay, welcome Ekta.
Hi.
Hi.
Help us understand something about your startup and how you both people met and how you started this entire venture. Let's give us some background on this and about your startup journey.
Right. First of all, thank you for having us over. And this is a great thing. You trying to recognize small entrepreneurs and startups. And how Ekta and I started is quite a journey. I have done my graduation from Christ University, Bangalore. I'm a business graduate.
And I'm a product of Delhi University.
Wonderful.
So yeah, so I'm a third generation businessman in the same field of textile, and I've been in this trade since around 2013. And Ekta also comes from a family of business people, and we were about to get married in 2000.
2019.
Yes, and one thing led to another, and then COVID happened, and we couldn't really get married on these set dates that we were supposed to.
Okay.
And so my father had always, kept promoting the two of us to do something together, to do something more meaningful.
Right.
Because as manufacturers, we have always been in the background. We have never actually come in front of people to get any kind of appreciation. Our customers or the mainstream retailers take away all the glamour away from our work, basically.
Right.
Having said that, no offense to them, they provide us a lot of business, but we wanted to be recognized. I mean, it was like about time. And with Ekta's set of skills, I think we started. When did we start actually?
2019.
2019 itself. Yeah. So we started
Right before the pandemic. And
yeah,
just like say a couple of months.
it was like an idea, basically. It wasn't something that we were actively executing.
Yeah.
And we properly started executing our ideas only once we hit lockdown. And then you want to continue with the story, how you started and came up with more ideas of creative posts and everything.
So we just wanted to kind of, put our work in forefront through digital like mediums. And I think nothing better than Instagram in today's generation.
Yep.
So, we started creating posts and videos and associated posts related to our products. And that's how we kind of, we started creating a story behind the brand itself. So this was amidst the pandemic, like 2020, summer of 2020. And
so funny enough, our concept was never to sell our products. We want through social media, we wanted to educate people as much as we could. So Ekta and I came up with a series of how to maintain your fabrics, or where does a particular design that we are showcasing come from, like kantha, and types of dyeing processes,
types of embroideries, types of fabrics, the maintenance, all of it. We just wanted to educate more and more people about textiles. And then something, since we are an eco-friendly organization, we also want to kind of do something for sustainable fashion. So unlike other firms, we take the order and then produce. So a lot of wastage is curbed at the manufacturing level. So a lot of it had to be around sustainable fashion choices and slow fashion, basically. How people can kind of connect.
Yeah, let me just interrupt you because that you are actually taking a lot of good words like sustainable fashion, which I personally admire. It's like slow fashion. I really want to understand. Pandemic has been quite, thrashing on many businesses. How it has impacted your industry, your particular business? What was the structure before pandemic, and now what is the kind of structure you have in place? How many of the people are there? What is your labor force, and what is the difference pre-pandemic, post-pandemic in your business activities?
Right. So surprisingly, in the middle of the pandemic, our brand Zarinama actually was able to sustain our business to quite a good level actually. Because I suppose since people weren't going out, and there are always people who want to add more value to their lives, and some people are just very fond of shopping, like myself. So I think we started gaining a lot of traction after we hit lockdown. So we already had a strategy in place, and things moving in a specific direction before the pandemic, but they started taking better shape, and we started getting better response
only during the pandemic.
Yeah,
like the first lockdown, the second lockdown.
So during the lockdowns, I wouldn't say the orders were very good or people were recognizing a lot, but we gained a lot of meaningful followers that could be, who eventually became our customers as well. Before the pandemic, it was all about mass production, and I myself was in the opinion, of keeping ready goods and ready stock and everything. But as soon as we hit the pandemic, and Ekta came up with the idea of how about just making smaller quantities. Like, if somebody placed an order for one dupatta, let's make one dupatta and send it to them. Because the day we have 10 dupattas in stock, we might be able to, sell probably 9, but that one dupatta is always going to be in stock. And that is going to add to the cost of the other 9 dupattas that we sold. So that's also how we are able to give better prices to our customers as well.
So I'm really curious to understand if it is really sustainable as a business, as a startup, and even in such type of tough times, to produce one such a small quantity and then delivering it, and how you are working out the financial stuff for the business.
So that was a very tricky part, and that is where
I think that's where the advantage of coming from a textile family comes.
So basically what we did was, when we saw this model of business growing, we actually imported a couple of machines that could produce smaller quantities. We have invested heavily into our business by ourselves. And we have started keeping machinery that would only make the desired quantity, and that is why we do come up with a lot of limitations also. Like, I can produce only 1.5 meters as a minimum quantity and not 90 centimeters or 1 meter, because the machinery requires those minimum number of centimeters to be produced. So we do come up with a lot of limitations.
And also limitations when it comes to dispatch time. So because we're manufacturing a very small quantity, and it's not ready in stock, so our dispatch time also increases. So now we take about 7 to 8 days to dispatch it.
Yeah, so our total average delivery time right now is around 13 days actually.
10 to 12 days.
12 days on an average. And I mean, the most difficult part was for us to explain to the customers how it is better for them, because
I
was very confused when you said sustainable business for this, for this kind of product category, this kind of clothing. How can you explain me sustainable, fashion plus Zari products? Like, it's totally, I have not heard this. I'm hearing this first time.
Sustainable. So it's sustainable in 2 ways. In the first way, because it's definitely not harming the environment. There's no stock. There's no overproduction. No wastage.
Okay.
It's eco-friendly. Less cloth means less dyeing, less environmental pollutants. So first is this is sustainability of the environment, right? And then when more and more people understand this model, that's how the business becomes sustainable. So we were highly appreciated by our clients to begin with. And it's only because of them that we were able to make it
So,
sustainable.
we actually put a very small tweak within our sustainable business category, and that was of bespoke wear. When we are producing only after getting the order, we told the customers, we can make the design bigger or smaller, or
They can customize it.
they could customize their fabric, they could customize their design combinations and everything. And that kind of became like an empty canvas for a lot of our creative customers who
Correct.
were very excited.
Correct.
A lot of designing students actually came up to us and they were like, could you do this for our final year project? I want this dupatta, but can I give you my design? Could you make that? So we started doing that, and we made sure that we wouldn't take away their name from it. So we never published those designs on our website, because we don't they wouldn't say no to us, but I didn't want to make them feel the way I felt before I started Zarinama. Before we started Zarinama, and we felt that we weren't being recognized enough. So never took their designs away from them. So that
Actually,
was the
I remember.
second part of the business.
Yes, I remember even Mantra.com started in the same way. They also started with customized mugs and customized clothing. But being to the marketing industry, I somehow feel customization is quite difficult to scale. So what kind of marketing strategies you used to initially grow up your business, and what kind of marketing strategies you are now using, and how you are planning to scale up? What is the strategy you have there?
That's actually a very difficult question, because that is something, we are facing constant challenges with. I wouldn't call it an issue, I would call it a challenge, especially when seasons change. People want different things each
Right.
year. So what happens is that since we promote slow fashion, we are not the kind of website which would
Fast consumption.
we don't promote fast consumption. It's not like we keep changing or we keep adding new designs every day. We don't do that, because we believe that a particular product is not appreciated till it's given enough time.
Right.
So we are facing challenges on those fronts, but then eventually I believe the only solution to this problem is educating our customers over a period of time. It's like how a school educates an entire generation, and then the next generation becomes better because our parents are educated and they want us to have better education. It's the same way. Our customers are, and especially, you will not believe me, but through the word of mouth, more than anything, through word of mouth, we have been able to acquire and sustain so many customers. Almost 30 to 35% of our orders till date are from repeat customers. That's why we lose out on a lot of customers also, because they say, okay, before, when we get an order, we call everyone and we speak to them and we explain our concept to them. And a lot of times they say, they don't have that kind of time
to wait,
Correct.
to wait it out.
Right. So I want to still ask you some basic things, like what were the marketing strategies you told me you used Instagram initially, but apart from that, what kind of basic marketing strategy you started when you were building up the Zarinama, the retail product of your existing printed business?
So point blank, sending cold emails and calling a few people who might be interested.
Okay.
Especially when we started posting, a lot of people started commenting on our posts, and our follow-up was very good. We have a very strong CRM team. I mean, a lot of our team members are actually well versed with our clients, and they speak to them on a regular basis and keep updating.
So were you
them.
marketing regionally or you were marketing pan-India?
Sorry?
So you were, I got you. You said you probably started with the social media initially to market your products, but was your efforts, regionally restricted, or you were trying to, gain the customers from pan-India level?
Pan India, and Instagram and Facebook weren't the only things. Because more than social media, it was the word of mouth, as I said.
Okay.
Because once we started getting meaningful customers, who were proper consumers of the kind of products that we were offering them, they always helped us quite a lot. We started getting calls from other people stating that we were referred to them by their friends or by their family members.
We started with social media, but it was mouth publicity, that kind of.
Yeah, that took it ahead. And for the future, we are looking forward to keep these strategies that we have as it is for the coming few years at least, but then add on to more formats of advertising. I'm pretty sure that eventually we will have to get into some kind of physical advertising and physical retail as well, and that is going to be our next step.
So how do you see the growth with digital medium in future? What kind of marketing plans you have, or the expansion plans you have for digital medium? Because, or you want to grow more into offline medium for the regional growth?
So it's going to be equal parts. The social media part or the digital medium is never going to go out of fashion. It can move from one platform of social media to the other. Each and every social media website is becoming more and more important each day.
Right.
I mean, when a few Chinese apps were banned in India, the other brands, other social media brands took a lot of momentum that they had. And the same is going to happen in the future. A lot of current social media backgrounds are losing their prominence, and newer mediums will replace them, and that is always going to be the case. I mean, let's be honest, like mediums like Twitter and LinkedIn were never considered as mediums of advertising, but today, if we see, a lot of people are actually coming to know about us through our corporate profiles, like we are speaking over here right now. So, that's going to play a very major portion on how our digital presence is going to increase in the coming few years.
Wonderful. So for closing, I really want to understand what kind of tips, marketing strategy, marketing ideas you have for the startups or entrepreneurs who would be wanting to start in your industry. Some ideas.
I think we're too young ourselves to kind of,
we are still learning ourselves.
Studies that you might have already experienced, and then you can share with others.
Suggestion, I think just a piece of suggestion, it would be to be consistent with your goals. I think that's very, very important.
Correct.
I believe, when actually Ekta, coined this term of sustainable fashion and slow fashion for Zarinama, even I was quite apprehensive as to how we'll be able to do it. But the most different ideas are the ones that work, because, in the mainstream, everything is working and people are, just copying each other's ideas, and it's just working out fine for them. But if you want to be segregated from the, medium scale businesses, we have to come up with newer ideas. We have to come up with newer concepts. However difficult it might be, it might sound, but people are going to laugh at you for once, but it is definitely going to work.
That's part of the entrepreneur's journey. People do laugh. We still work. We still prove them wrong, and then we go ahead. As Gandhi said,
every single day.
First they laugh on you, then they ignore you, then they fight with you, and then you win. So that is part of the journey of the startup. Right? So Akshay
Ekta, just being consistent.
Yeah. So Akshay Ekta, thank you very much for your time, and we wish you all the best for your startup. We want to see you grow and multiply your revenue in the coming years. We hope that the pandemic actually came as an innovating time for you people, so that you can reduce your costs and optimize your production, optimize your designs, and get the new customers, and keep inspiring other entrepreneurs as well. So thank you very much for your time, and good luck to you guys.
A pleasure.